Um, Catalina, the last name is Bayona?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is the work of Catalina Bayona. Do you want to make a statement at some point? No, okay. Okay, Vince.
I don't really know the work. But I think the first thing that's apparent in the paintings is that you are able to do something to activate the surfaces of these things in a way that is highly visible. It's effective. Effective in that it's causing some kind of sensory sensation of depth and of luminosity and things like that. But it's a dangerous thing, so it can be really kitschy. But the fact of doing it is not the kitsch part of it, it's the service to which it's used. However, the blue painting here for me is a very beautiful painting. You're able to do those things in a very low-key kind of way with a very mysterious sort of presence of this circle, you know. So I would just be careful of it. Now, that's my take. It should be that you should go totally over the top with it, which would also be very interesting, you know, incorporating the strange, you know, sort of kitschy aspects of it, which I think, so it can go either way, but it's something that you should be very careful of.
Okay, so I have a question. This rhinoceros is based on the cave drawings of the hairy rhinoceros. Are you familiar with them? What's the origin of the rhinoceros? Just did it. But yeah, well, it looks just like, so there were hairy rhinoceroses that lived in Europe, and there are cave paintings of the hairy rhinoceros, which are extinct. So they're interesting because they may be the memory of the unicorn, because they were living there with people prehistory before they killed them all. So it's just something to look at. And I like your ambition. I also think like, you know, Christianity is the great, I'm sorry, most Western art is about God, right? Most of it. That's the point of origin. And so to deal with Christian iconography is fine. And I like the fact that you're interested in from your own point of view, that you're trying to make your own iconography. I think that's really brave and I think it's exciting. I think there's some issues, technical issues that you have to be careful going all into the kitsch. And a lot of that is chromatic in these, like absolute yellow, absolute red, you know, silver stuff. Like it's, you know, I don't think you're managing it well. And there are people who have done it. I mean, you may want to look. One of the kitschiest of ours all the time is De Ville. He was a Belgian symbolist to turn of the century, you know. Look at when it's successful and when it's not. It's not successful with him. That kind of chroma. Grunwald, talk about acid trips. Crazy. Christ coming out of the tomb. It's totally 60s. Like, look at Grunwald, one of the greatest religious artists all time, equal to Michelangelo. I am personally, I hate it when teachers do this because it always seems condescending, but I'm sorry. I like the rhino, I like the fish, and I like the little figures. I think when you make them there, they're less overladen and they have something like, what if it was like a giant rhino? And of course, we know fishes are symbols, all sorts of things are symbolic about, like, I think you can get there in a simpler way. But I think you need to, your ambition is great and profound and wonderful. I think you need to rethink your technical language a little bit to make it accessible on certain levels.
I just want to say, having read reread her paper this morning, I think the project is really ambitious, and she's trying, we talk contemporarily a lot about spiritual but not religious, or kind of ineffability and this kind of, non-literal kind of vacant way. And I think, at least my impression or my understanding is that she is really interested in the concrete transcendent experience. That is very specific for her, but also in speaking to people who don't necessarily share that specific experience. And I think that there are, signs of answers here, and I think Wade is right about the sculpture. I don't know that you need to make sculpture, but that offers an opening. And you may not see it here, but she has a huge skill set in that area and a history there. So I definitely, have been kind of struggling with this, because I know that the specificity and the literalism is part of the drive here. And how does that manifest without being kitschy or without being too literal? And that's a really hard problem. But I think that there are things here that, can indicate a way forward.
Sarah.
Hi, nice to meet you. Congratulations. You have a lot of varying directions here. I was excited to see the little sculptural pieces over there that might be missed. And one question I have is about the composition, and maybe looking more at art history and leaning into